Craig, dude.
No, it's fine. It's recording. Like, it's going live in seconds. In fact, it's going live right now.
All right.
It's
awesome.
live as we speak.
It's not, though.
Just
Well,
wait. Just give it a
welcome.
second. There you go. It's live now.
I'm not doing the disclaimer because
Viewer
this
discretion
isn't the
is
real
advised.
one.
We talk about Comic Con and video games and stuff like that. There you go.
Oh,
This
boy.
might be explicit for
was-
17-year-olds.
It's a beautiful disclaimer.
Our new viewers from Comic Con are gonna love that intro.
I know.
That's the level of quality you can expect
That's
from
the
us.
level of professionalism we bring.
Yeah.
Listen, we do nothing but the best here at Salt Pop. That's why we're streaming Ninja Gaiden while also talking about...
Oh, Craig, I hate you so much.
So if you were at Comic Con, you probably met me or Trent or Eric or Zane. So I'll
Or
just
Craig,
start.
maybe.
I'll say my name's Devin. Hi.
My name is Trent. Hello.
I'm Eric.
Victor.
And I suppose.
And I'm Zane.
And I'm Craig!
Oh, gosh, I hate Craig.
All right.
So we came here basically because we wanted to do an update on Comic-Con, right? Yeah.
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 I wanted to talk about Comic-Con, the things we did there, if you saw us, and etc. What we liked about it, what we thought about it, and in comparison to it, anything. What was your impressions before Comic-Con, guys? Like, what was your expectations before we got there? Because I know mine was sort of
Mine
like
was really
low.
low. Like,
low. Mine was low too.
Yeah, I
Very
agree with that.
Low.
When we first had a conversation about it, I was worried that I was wondering like how many vendors are going to be there, who's going to show up, like do we even have enough people to support a Comic-Con? And then that became, oh, there's more people on board. We were on board, and then it became, oh, they're moving it from the South Town Expo Center to the Salt Palace.
Had
And
any of
then
you
that-
guys been to
Then it was
Geeks?
serious.
no.
No, I've never been to Geeks.
I went
I
to
didn't go to
Geeks,
Geeks.
and
It
it
was-
was not impressive.
Yeah.
And I forgot that Geeks was a part of Salt Lake Comic Con, to be honest with you. I guess they
Yeah.
really didn't even need that sort of partnership or support at all with the amount of people that came out. And my impression was, when I was going there, is I was wondering if it would even be worth the effort that we were putting into it. Because we did have a booth. We were at booth 918. We were there with Graywell Entertainment, sort of a partner booth. Sort of ran that booth, and as well as sort of panhandled our brand, I guess you can say there. You might have received one of our cards, perhaps. But the second I got there, I was pleasantly surprised. That was actually that. Yeah, that is it. I don't know if they can see it, Devin.
Blurry, you know.
Make it less blurry.
Oh, nice, Eric. Thank you.
I was pretty impressed. After I got on the floor, even before it opened, I was like, huh, this is really reminding me of Comic-Con. And Thursday was really light. It was really light day.
But it exceeded my expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought it would be dead the whole day, but it got really, really busy.
The floor setup was big. It was really well organized, and it felt like a serious con from the second we got there, which is
And I
really
had a
cool.
chance
So-
to talk to people who had gone on Thursday and only Thursday, and they said that, you know, they got in and they had to wait in line for maybe half an hour, and then leaving, they said there was double the line, you know, wrapped around the building almost, and they didn't know how those people were getting in before it was going to close.
I mean, it was crazy. Like, when Jeanette and I left on Saturday, the line went around the whole entire Salt Palace. So it's like, I was just amazed that people actually wanted to come to this thing. Because, like you guys said, I only thought that maybe like 30, maybe 20,000 would actually want to be part of this. But
The final
Right.
numbers have come out, right?
Yeah, I believe they did, but we were all pretty skeptical. I mean, because it was the first year
Well-
Comic-Con and it was Utah, and we were just kind of like, who's going to wind up showing up for this? I mean, what kind of turnout and what kind of content can we expect out of something like
But
this?
it ended up being, after the numbers were verified, it ended up being the fourth largest Comic-Con in the nation this year. That's not just counting first year, that's counting San Diego
Was
this
it the
year.
nation, or was it? I
Fan
thought it was
Expo in
North
Toronto.
America.
It was
North America, sorry. It was Toronto. So it was San Diego Comic-Con, New York Comic-Con, the Fan Expo in Toronto, and this.
In Salt Lake.
Yeah, so which is pretty awesome, and
Came in above the Emerald City Comic Con, which is Seattle, and the Denver Comic Con.
which have been established for years.
Yeah.
This Comic Con was the largest inaugural first. It was the largest first year inaugural year for a Comic Con anywhere in the country.
Ever,
So
yeah.
there's no Comic Con that's ever opened as big as ours. And the other record that it broke is it's the largest convention that Salt Lake has ever had, that Utah's ever had. Bigger than the
Utah's
outdoor.
our board.
Yeah, bigger than the Outdoor Retailers Expo, bigger than the gun shows, bigger than anything that's been going on.
And outdoor retail,
that was
held
the part that
title,
was.
haven't
So-
they?
What?
Outdoor retail
What?
has held the title for largest, I think, right?
Probably, yeah.
I
We'll
think
get
so.
shit on
So-
outdoor retail.
So it was really
The nerd
impressive.
showed you.
I think there's no way they won't do another one for
Oh,
you know.
it'd be stupid to
an indefinite
call it
period of
one and
time.
done.
They should just quit it. Just
Well,
do it
I
once and
Go
quit.
out on top.
you brought up a pretty good point earlier, Craig, where you were saying, I mean, where do they even go from here? I mean, they were at max capacity. They couldn't even let people in the building on Saturday. It was one person leaves, one person goes in. Isn't Salt Palace the biggest convention center in
They were only
the
using
state?
70% of the floor,
Yeah.
though.
Yeah, well, the one thing I noticed about
Even
the floors,
so.
for one, they weren't using almost 3/4 of the floor. The other thing is that they were wasting a lot of space with the artist signing areas and with all the food booths. I don't know if you guys went to the south
Yeah.
end of the expo center, or
Yeah.
the convention center, but they had all those food booths and then that huge dining area with all those tables, and on the other end
I
there were
didn't see
more
that.
food vendors. So, and that's in addition to the concession stands that were built into the walls that are just part of the structure. So, I mean, they wasted a lot of floor space and they didn't use all of the floor space that they had. So,
Right, and
I would
like you said,
anticipate
there was.
they won't do that again.
Did you
Yeah,
guys
there
go
was
to
a-
the eastern part of the convention? It was just empty compared to where the Graywell booth was and everything.
You mean the western?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
the
Higher
eastern part.
numbers or lower numbers?
The eastern part is the entrance of the building.
Yeah, it was. Oh shoot! I mean, wow.
Yeah,
South
the west.
part.
Oh, the south part. Yeah, the south part, like Zane was saying, was just basically
Pretty much
reserved for a
dining
bunch of.
area.
Yeah,
And they completely undershot the numbers. I mean, they sold 30,000 tickets, which would have been fine, but then 50,000 tickets sold by Saturday, and then what, 60 to 80,000 people showed up.
Yeah, the mistake they made was that they sold on Saturday people who had bought tickets already, who were showing up late. They were selling tickets to people who didn't have tickets already that showed up early Saturday morning. So someone who bought their tickets in advance for Saturday
There was no selling
was-
out, basically.
couldn't. Yeah, they couldn't get in because someone who'd shown up before them. Which, you know, you can make the argument like, well, you should have gotten there early even though you have a ticket. But on the other hand, you bought a ticket, you should be guaranteed entry. So there were
Right.
quite a few. I mean, there was thousands of people that were unhappy and unable to get into the convention center. But I think that
Well, I think with the
you
kind of
can't have an
turnout that
opening event without some sort of growing pains or, you know, some sort of snafu. So
right, it was
otherwise, it
definitely
was
a,
really well organized. So
Well, I have a lot of hope. I think hopefully next year there won't be as much. They won't be like holding the guests' hands as much. They won't be letting the guests control the show as much. Hopefully they'll rein in a little bit more control over that. They'll start to exert a little bit more control, because I felt this year it was more of just please come out and
Right.
help us out, because we're so desperate and we need to make this thing happen.
But I got the feeling, though, people were pretty understanding that it was a first year, too. One of the things I would say is that people were pretty overall positive there. I know people were surprised at, it's so crowded, but
yeah.
I didn't hear a lot of complaining or anything.
It was well organized, and I think everybody is still really pleased with how it turned out. And next year, I wouldn't be surprised if next year if they sold tickets similar to the San Diego Comic Con, where you have a finite number of passes for the entire set of days and for each day, and they just sell to capacity, and then that's it. They cut it off because now they know they've got a guaranteed audience that's going to come out. They don't have to chance that they're not going to sell, enough tickets to support the convention. So
Yeah, I felt like they're like, we moved it to a big enough venue that we don't need to worry about selling out. And the second they thought about that, and they pushed the limits. They had to come shut it down, everyone.
So good job.
Yeah, good job.
Comic-Con
I mean,
dudes.
for first year, I mean, like you guys said, it was the biggest inaugural Comic-Con ever. Before it even started, before Salt Lake Comic Con was ever a thing, I always thought that Utah was a great location for a Comic Con because it's so central to all the states around it, and even the West, the West Coast with California. It's a lot closer for the Midwest people who don't want to really go to California, but they feel like they can do a drive to Utah. And I think we clearly saw that with. I mean, I've heard 60,000, I've heard 80,000, but which isn't exaggerating because we saw those people there. That's and to have the fourth biggest in North America in the first year. Yeah, great location.
Big deal.
Better use of space, and I think the second year is going to be incredible. It's going
I
to be
think they need to have like
really
outside, like have like
like off-site events.
Yeah, outside events, like have like the hotels around it do like different panels. And that's another thing they need to do. They need to showcase more panels to be part of it, so people aren't on the floor all the time. You know what I mean?
Well, I
there
agree,
wasn't
man.
anything.
I looked at the schedule in the book that they had, and it felt like maybe it was just me, but I didn't see a schedule for when the panels are at. I didn't see a schedule for where they're at. I don't know how people were even getting to panels. Like, do you guys know how people were getting panels?
They're just
On
announcing them
the
over the PA.
yeah,
Yeah,
it was just awful.
there's so many panels. Like,
Yeah,
I agree.
they'll iron that stuff out next year, and they'll be more organized. I wouldn't be surprised if next year the entire floor is utilized, and then they have off-site events planned, like stuff that's happening in the adjacent rooms, and then also off-site from the Palace, the Salt Palace. So.
One thing I'm really hoping for the second year of the Comic Con is that they won't have to rely so heavily on just pulling as many celebrities as they can, because that was really the big draw, and that was the huge marketing point. But that with the amount of attendance and everything that they were able to pull this year, and showed how successful it was, that we can actually get like some comic book artists and like a web comics presence or something like that. That it's not just gonna be like, hey everyone, we actually got Shatner and later show. That it'll actually be like, some real people from the industry and not just your celebrities from your favorite childhood shows.
Well, now that they have a demonstrable interest, they have numbers that they can show people. Because I know Stan Lee wouldn't agree to attend until they had hit 30,000 tickets sold. So now they can go to basically any vendor or any celebrity and say, look, we had this much attendance. It was a blowout. It's going to be even bigger this year. And I think it'll be easy for them to sell a lot more quality vendors and a lot more people to show up. So
Instead of mortgage companies?
Yeah,
Oh my
instead of a mortgage company or whatever. I mean, the quality of vendors was up and down.
And I'm sure they appreciate every single vendor this year.
Yeah, like Eaglegate College and all those different.
Which when you look at San Diego Comic Con, there's still just as many iffy booths, but they're just so small. I mean, there's so many that there's such a smaller percentage of the total represented vendors. So it's not like it's a bad thing.
So what I had heard happened with like Stan Lee and everything was apparently this last weekend was also the Comic Con in Baltimore, and Stan Lee was out there for Thursday and Friday and was going to be out there on Saturday, which is the big day, but Salt Lake had higher attendance, so he came out here. He shafted the Baltimore Comic Con to go to the Salt Lake one.
Eat it, Baltimore.
Yeah, Utah.
That's
if
funny.
any Baltimore
You
people
have
are
the wire,
listening,
and that's
get
it.
shit on.
You have a wire. And that's all.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not
not
even
Baltimore.
good
There's really nothing
about
there.
Baltimore.
Trent, did we want to talk about if we got anything there or whatever?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, not only if we got anything there, but what was our favorite moment? What did you see that you were like, oh man, or maybe a crystallizing moment where you're like, wow, this can compete with the biggest Comic Cons. Craig, let's start with you. I know you're busy with Ninja Kitten, but
No, you're fine. The best thing I saw, honestly, is just seeing people who, because I talked to numerous people about Comic Con and their thoughts and feels about comparing it to San Diego, and they were all pretty happy with Salt Lake, saying oh man, it's just like the old days, how it was just nothing but small vendors, none of this TV and video game stuff that you'll see at San Diego, which we love, but for the comic book purists, it was just interesting to see from their point of view how San Diego's back to the old days of how Comic Con should be. And I just died, damn it. But I think my favorite vendor I saw, honestly, was the card game guy who made all of those playing card games as 8-bit style.
Mm-hmm.
That is just really cool. And I actually pre-ordered his his blue deck that you'll find just normally used for playing poker and stuff.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so what it is basically, it's like playing cards, like you would, like Craig was saying, that you would play for poker,
Here,
but they
I
did
got the
8-bit renditions of all of the face cards and all of the different suits, and then they did also different versions of. They did just their own renditions of playing cards, like they did a Zelda themed, they did a Mario themed. I think there was
Classic
a
arcade theme.
Duck Hunt one as
Oh,
well.
yeah. I think it would serve to actually tell their website here. I got their card. Their business cards are actually like playing cards. They're pretty cool. They're called Home Run Games.
Yes, Home Run Games, that's what it was.
It's www.homerungames.com. I think they have 2 separate Kickstarters that are up right now, so you'd be able to find those on Kickstarter by searching Home Run Games.
They're out of Arizona.
Yep.
And they're really cool guys, super down to earth. They were there trying to get their product out, and you know, all of us noticed it right away because obviously we love that kind of style, and anything like that just sort of draws us there. I bought their limited edition Zelda deck, and the great thing about these 8-bit playing cards is that they come in these NES sleeves.
It's so
the
cool.
old school NES sleeves for your Nintendo games. They made little ones that the deck of cards can go into.
I don't know where my deck is, but
yeah, I'm looking at mine right now, and that's what sold me, was that nice little touch of the sleeve that the cards can go into. It was so smart, and you saw a lot of that at the Comic-Con, which was great. And I agree, that's one of my favorite things. Like you were saying, Craig, is it was just smaller. There was it was easier to see things, and I think Artist Alley was represented just as big as the other booths, which you don't see at San Diego Comic-Con.
And then, not to sound biased or anything, but I think our booth location was pretty
Awesome.
prime.
Yeah.
It's good. We were by a lot of really big.
We were one of the
vendors
first
that
vendors
were
to
high
sign up.
traffic. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to or anything.
Good job, Trent. Let's all give an applause for Trent for finding a good booth location.
Unnecessary.
Everybody just get down on all 4 and give him a good one.
Okay, thanks, Craig. Just you, though, buddy. Just you. What about you, Devin? What was your favorite thing you saw or experienced?
Okay, I said it before. My favorite thing is there's this little kid, and he was dressed up like Spock, and he just comes running up like full bore, and he runs up to our booth, and he just looks at the side, and he's like, "Hypnotoad!" And he was just so excited. So I'm like, man, you got a lot of cool interest for being like 5. So
yeah, he was very, very young. That was really cool. I like that too.
So I was excited. Like all those kids coming out, I know they were getting in for free, and so that was kind of just kind of a different thing to see there, but it was really cool.
Yeah, speaking of things that might change
kids
for next year, well, any kid 12 and under was allowed for free. So I think that might be something you also see change next year, is that they charge tickets for anybody that's like maybe older than 6.
I think it's actually 10.
something like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
Nathan was 11, and he had to buy a $15 ticket, and I think it's 11 through 13 or something was half off.
There was a huge amount of kids, which you would never see at San Diego Comic Con. So I bet they changed that too, because you could. I mean, that's a huge number of people that are getting in for free that are taking up a lot of room on the floor.
Taking up a lot of room. I agree with that.
Especially
It just
strollers,
makes sense.
Craig.
Here's another thing, strollers. Like, let's get real talk here, guys.
You were a
Just-
violator of that.
You're a
I
dick
was
for
part of
bringing a
that.
stroller.
I brought my kid on a stroller. Never again will I bring my kid on a stroller. Oh, damn it. But I think for when I bring Noah next time, he needs to be a lot older because it's so hard to bring a kid to Comic-Con.
And he doesn't give a damn.
Yeah, the only thing he liked was like this train set that they had, the Lego booth, where like there's like the Utah Lego Guild or whatever, and they built like
There's
a bunch
guy
of
at
really
my
cool.
work who was in that. He does that. Like,
Really? There's
he
a guy in my
was
dad's
that group.
neighborhood that was in that. He was at that booth too.
Yeah,
He's all
it was
excited
cool.
for
Cool.
the Lego store to open at the Valley Fair or the
Fashion
Place
Place.
Mall.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Lego Builders Association like model that they had built was huge, and it was super cool. That was awesome. They had all those Lord of the Rings setups that they had built, and they were amazing.
I wish I had seen it.
Yeah, it was
really cool. They had like a DC, like they had the Justice League and everything. It was
Head
pretty
back
They were
to
just
Future,
these massive
zombie.
sets built up, so it was cool.
What about you, Zane? What was your favorite thing you saw or experienced or did or bought too? I mean, if you bought something cool, tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I spent the majority, like the vast majority of my time on Thursday and Friday working the booth, I didn't really get a whole lot of time to leave the booth unless it was to go straight to the bathroom and then come back.
Yeah, I know that feel.
But I did take like about, I don't know, a half hour on Friday evening to go walk around and actually just go up and down every single aisle, look at every vendor and every artist in Artist Alley and stuff, and it was pretty cool just to get like the vibe of the type of people that showed up, what kind of vendors they pulled in and stuff. So, I mean, I don't know if I had like a favorite booth, but I was impressed with the size of some of the booths, because some of the booths did feel like those big San Diego Comic Con vendors with, you know, 1 million T-shirts and like a ton of stuff set up, and you know the professional convention setups that they bring in. So it was cool seeing those big vendors show up to an event that they definitely, you know, aren't local for, and so that was pretty cool. But one thing that I found that I was pretty stoked on is I was going past the Salt Lake Film Society's booth, and they had a bunch of their, you know, and they do Summer of 35, and they do like the different screenings, the special screenings of cult films. They sometimes do posters. They commission local artists to do, you know, screen printed posters and stuff like that. And no one ever does Road Warrior stuff. You know, all the pop culture cult artists that do prints on famous movies, like there's a real shortage on Road Warrior and Mad Max stuff, but they actually had a like Road Warrior Mad Max 2 print there that was on this really cool rough edged art paper, and it was really cool colors, signed in pencil, numbered out of 35, and it was really cheap, so I picked that up and I was pretty stoked on that. So it was cool actually finding that there, because you know I didn't find anything like that at San Diego Comic Con, which is funny that I found something here that I didn't find in San Diego. So
Cool.
it was cool.
That's cool, man. Like, and that's the thing. I like walking around the convention. Maybe not so much on Thursday, but definitely on Friday or on Saturday. Oh my gosh, Saturday. Definitely San Diego Comic Con feels.
Yeah, seriously.
Which made me just go, man. I really feel like this convention can go places. I really feel like we have something here, and we might have Salt Lake be on the map for having one of the best comic conventions in the country, which would be awesome.
Which is what I heard from a lot of celebrities. Is a lot of celebrities really, really like David Prowse that played Chewbacca, or not David Prowse played Darth Vader, but Peter Mayhew that played Chewbacca was also there. But David Prowse said it's his favorite convention he's ever worked of any of the comic conventions. Like the people and just the way it went for him was the best, which is really cool to hear that the celebrities actually really enjoyed it here. So.
And it was sort of like Devin was saying too. Like the positivity of this convention was definitely felt. Like I love the positivity of this convention center. Like there's a lot of negative hassling over at San Diego Comic Con. People were just enjoying themselves. You could tell a lot of people hadn't been to the convention center before, and it felt like for me too, like I had been to a convention for the first time, and I love that feeling.
Yeah, I didn't run into anybody that was just being an outright dick, or just had a terrible attitude, or I just didn't want me to help them, or anything like that. Like everybody was so positive and happy to be there.
I just had my first time at San Diego, and so it's basically like 60,000 people who are having that same feeling that I had my first time just a few months ago, are all having it right then, and I'm seeing all of them have it at the same time. It was really cool.
Yeah, it was really funny for me. I wound up running into some like distant relatives, like my dad's cousin, and he was there with like his wife and their son, and he's just like, "Are you just not like you can't stop smiling at all?" Like they were just having such a good time, and their son like made the comment, he's like, "These are my people. These are my people."
That's the feeling.
He had that feel where he was walking around, where it's just like, I know that I'm into these sort of things, and that people are into these sort of things as well.
Yeah, it's that instant camaraderie.
Yeah, like you are all like immediately unified by the convention, so they had a blast, and it seemed like everyone I talked to, like one of my roommates too, he had never done like a convention like this at all before, and he's just like, I definitely want to do it again next year. I had a great time. So the stuff like that.
I'm really, really hoping that Salt Lake can be put on the map for that reason, because after seeing the turnout, I think it's completely possible. What about you, Eric? What was your favorite moment? What was the favorite thing you saw, or the favorite thing you purchased?
For me, like we've done the San Diego Comic Con the last 3 years. So for me, the thing that was probably my favorite part was being able to see the convention from the other side, seeing it from the vendor side, operating the booth, and like working that angle, like having people come up and just like, you know, talking to them, asking if they're local, where they're from, why they decide to come. I mean, seeing that side of it, I think we got to make a lot more contact with a bunch of different people. I mean, you're obviously all there and you're all unified by the fact that you're at the convention and you're excited to be there for everything that's going on. But the chance to like connect with those people, like as many people as we did on an individual level like that, it was a lot of fun. I mean, we were selling them like the merch and like the little kid robot blind boxes, and just like seeing people's faces light up when they get the character they want out of it.
Dude,
like
there were some lucky
just
people.
the little stuff.
really
Yeah,
lucky.
there were some really lucky people. But I mean, it was just seeing it from that side, being able to, you know, be the ones who like shell out or like sell that Comic-Con experience and like those things that people are going to go home and remember they got at the Comic-Con, and like as a memory, like they'll see that, like the people who bought the Hypnotoad or the Homer Buddhas, just like, I got that Salt Lake Comic-Con the first year, and it's just like being able to, you know, help them make those memories was really, really cool.
Yeah, I agree, and you bring up a good point as far as being on the other side, because you know when we're at San Diego Comic-Con, networking or meeting new artists besides picking up some prints really isn't on our minds so much. But when I went to this comic convention and I was like, oh man, this is really great stuff you got here. Where are you from? And I hear him say Ogden. You know, it's really crazy to me, because I mean, you see these people with talent, they're making great art, and for them to be in your backyard and you've never known it before, it sort of makes you go, oh wow, I need to get to know these people. I need to see where they're at and maybe broaden my horizons as far as, you know, what Salt Lake or, you know, the state of Utah as a whole has to offer. Because I think and that was great for Salt Lake Comic Con to bring all those people together and you know, their different interests and different talents, and it was great to see that. And working the other end of it, I don't think we would have been able to get that feeling as much, because we had that camaraderie.
But
And I have. Oh, go ahead, Devin.
I was just gonna say, like you were saying, this talent pool here in Utah, like someone that's super cool in Ogden that you've never heard of, and they're in your own backyard. Well, think now if Salt Lake becomes this culture hub and it is known for one of the best Comic-Cons, and people are coming here, these people from your backyard are going to become like national names and things like that if people are traveling all across the country for them.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, it could be a hub. What were you gonna say, Zane?
Speaking of, you know, working on the other side and being a vendor, I have like a huge newfound respect for anybody who goes to San Diego Comic-Con or like New York Comic-Con as a vendor, because just for us, for our one booth, you know, gathering all of the product and getting it all the way to the convention center and setting it up, running sales all day, and, you know, being there every day from open to close ahead of time, and just all that stuff, thinking about doing that, but on the scale of some of the vendors that go to San Diego Comic-Con,
Yeah, we
I
had
just don't know
a
how
pretty
people do it.
small booth comparatively, like compared to
Yeah.
some of the stuff that you see at the conventions. Ours was pretty small, but I totally agree. Like the setup and takedown is just such a newfound respect for those guys who come out and show up every year to do it.
Yeah, it's a massive, massive amount of work even to run a small booth. So just like now, like I think when I go to San Diego Comic-Con next year, I will have new eyes when I look at a booth, because I'm going to realize like how much work it takes even just for a small one. For someone to go from out of state too. I mean, we're just coming from Taylorsville to
even
Salt Lake City, but but I mean, going from out of state with all of your product and synchronizing and making sure that you've got everything you need to run your sales and to do all that, it's just incredible. And it takes a lot of time and work. So
I think the security at San Diego is a lot easier, so you can technically just leave your things there overnight.
They had 24-hour security at Salt Lake Comic Con, though.
Yeah, I mean, we did that too, Craig. I mean, like we left most of our products there. We only took like the most crucial stuff with us. Like, you know, the most basic stuff
like money.
we needed to take home. Yeah, like cash boxes.
Like money.
But the product, I mean, with a minimal amount of, you know, taking things down, we left all of our product there, which is actually like a godsend, because it could have been so much worse if we would have to take all of our product out every night. So.
And you bring up a great point. I remember a story at San Diego Comic-Con how I felt, where there was these guys working the Sony booth, and they were just like, it was the last day, it was a Sunday, and, you know, things were winding down, and I wanted to play the games there, so I went. And I just remember one of the guys being like, just 5 more hours, and then they both laughed to each other. And I just had the feeling like, dude, it's Comic-Con, why would you want it to end? But then when working on the booth side, you're like, God, when will this end?
Yeah, right.
Please stop.
They
I
extended
know I'm
going to
wear more
today.
comfortable shoes next time.
Yeah, exactly. Like everyone was saying, extending an hour on Thursday from 8 to 9, you don't think that's a big deal, and when you're on the you know, when you're just on the consumer side, you're like, awesome, I get to walk around for another hour, and on the vendor side, you're like, damn, my feet want to get
On feet.
Yeah, the con feet. So I mean, like you said, it's a different
shift.
Yeah,
It's
it's
cool.
a different paradigm shift there. It's really, really cool. I wouldn't have traded it for the world as much as I was exhausted on Sunday.
Oh, absolutely not. Like, I'm so glad I got the experience, because now I feel like, you know, we'll go to San Diego Comic Con as consumers, and we'll go to Salt Lake Comic Con as vendors, and it'll be like seeing the flip side experience each year as Salt Lake Comic Con grows and as different things go to San Diego Comic Con. And I'm just more excited now. So.
Did you say your favorite thing, Trent, yet?
No, Eric has it though. What, Eric?
No, I did mine already.
That's right. All right, we can talk about mine. So I had a few things. I had a few purchases that I loved, and one moment that I really, really liked. As far as the things that I bought, I really love that I got Akuma in a blind box for the round 2 series. That was really epic for me, especially because I bought a shit ton of them before I got Akuma. I just was wanting Cammy, and Cammy's supposed to be one in a box. I'm like, God, she's got to be here somewhere. And of course, somebody bought her the second day.
Yep.
So I was like, shit, out of luck there. But then I was like, one more, and I ended up getting Akuma, which is super rare. And I was looking up online; he goes for like $70 on eBay and stuff. So I'm like, jeez, this Kid Robot blind box stuff is serious business. Like somebody was selling Evil Ryu, Mecha Akuma, and Shin Akuma for like $300, and there was bids on it.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy
Some
stuff.
guy pulled Goken too on Saturday. So.
Yes, some guy was just like, "Oh man, I'm really wanting Akuma," and I'm like, "Sorry, dude, I got Akuma. I don't know if you'll be able to get him." So he's like, "Yeah," and then he gets Goken, the other chaser in the box.
What does
which is really
Goken look like?
He looks really
like Goken.
Yeah, he looks like Goken.
Does he have any cool, like, you know, beads or something? I don't know, because he has like
no, because he has just a big rope, which is sort of toned down in the Kid Robot version. His head's really cool, and his ponytail's really cool, though. As far
You
as
can Google it and find it, Craig.
yeah, just
just describe it to me.
no, thanks. Another thing I saw was this. It was an Artist Alley, and it was probably my favorite thing that I saw on Artist Alley. But it was a artist who had just done different renditions of Link, what he would look like in different universes, and he was selling individual little prints, sort of like Ali Moss did for you, Craig, where he was just like, you know, those individual little things that you could purchase of, you know, Shadow of the Colossus or what have you. He was doing that thing, but with just different iterations that he had done of Link. For example, the 3 that I bought was an adult version of Majora's Mask Link, where he had like a cloak and a cape, and he was all like battle worn and everything, and you could see all of his items off of his back, and he was just like he could bring on anything. It looks like he saw everything. It's a really, really cool print. Another one was what would Link look like in a sort of Samus-inspired suit. And so it was like a Metroid version of Link, which was really, really cool. And then my favorite one was a Studio Ghibli version of Link.
Cool.
And instead of, like, in Princess Mononoke holding the boar's head, he was holding a Ganon's boar head. So it was really, really sweet looking. And he was selling a poster of every single one he had done, which he, you know, wasn't selling in some of the individual ones. He did an Adventure Time Link that sold out completely, of course. But that was really cool. And then there was, you know, these two, and then I had these two experiences of, one, I met this guy from Ogden who did a really, really cool Geef print, really sweet. He did a version of Shatner fighting off a Gorn, but instead of a Gorn, it was Raphael, the Ninja Turtle.
It was really cool.
It was really cool looking. And then I was just talking with him, and he did a version of Samus, but had like sort of medieval armor instead of her armor, but it looked like her armor. And I was like, oh man, that's awesome. It would be sweet to see what Link would look like in sort of futuristic armor of his version. He was like, oh shit, I think I should do that. I was like, oh awesome, yeah, please do. Like just that moment of, you know, like I said, interacting with those local artists and having those experiences. But I think by far my favorite experience was first day on Thursday. I'm just walking around, gonna go get our books, and I just see this guy pass me, and he's just rolling around his luggage, and I'm like, shit, that was the Black Power Ranger. And I turn around and I look at him, and he's just sort of going in circles looking around. I'm like, yo, I have to get my picture with him. This is too good. And as I'm about to go, a lady comes up to him and sort of taps him on the shoulder and goes, are you lost? And he just sort of does this sigh like, yeah, I'm lost. Like, he's done this a million times. Like, I don't even know where to go. and she just took him over to the signing area, and I was like, oh man, I didn't get my picture. And then that little sad thing where for a good time on Thursday he was just sitting alone, you know.
Well, it wasn't open yet.
Right, like I was
VIP,
saying, like in the early hours of Thursday, you're just like, oh man, I want to go over there, but I'm working the booth. But then on Saturday he was just swamped. Like Saturday was a different beast altogether. I can't believe
Saturday was out of control.
Did we want to? We got about 12 minutes left. Do we want to talk about the chalkboard we had?
Yeah, let's absolutely talk about. Let's sort of do this quickly.
Okay, I'm throwing up. It won't be on Craig's stream, but it'll be on the pre-recorded side of mine. I have.
Man, I should have showed my Akuma. I forgot that we were doing the pre-recorded version.
Visual
I'm just sort of
aids.
messing around. Dang it!
Stop dicking around, guys.
Right now,
I'm just all reclined, like, yeah, this is cool, you know. I'm just talking.
Okay, right now I am displaying our Salt Pop board, and right now it's our Will Ben Be a Good Batman? This is the beginning of the day.
On Thursday,
yeah.
our first question on Thursday, which people just...
So is you and me working, Trent?
Yeah, we were working the chalkboard really.
You were saying yes, I said no, I think?
Yeah, I was saying yes, definitely.
Yeah, I was saying no.
And he was not, but let's just say Ben was not having a good con.
Let me switch to...
Ben didn't have a good day on Thursday.
There were a lot more no's. I don't remember. We did a kind of preliminary count. We had 64 to 55, but then way more votes came.
Yeah.
I'd say Ben almost got double no's by the end of it.
Yeah, Ben, and it's funny because the people who said yes were sort of just like, I'm optimistic. I think he can do it. Where the people were like, no, it's like, no, this is a travesty. There was a Deadpool walking around with a sign that said, I would be a better Batman than Ben. And, like, there were people who had shirts that said, boycott Ben as Batman. I'm like, holy hell, people.
Yeah, people are not happy about that.
All right. The next board we had was DC or Marvel. This one comes to us from Craig.
Oh, gosh, yeah. This was fun. That was a fun day. Because I got heated. Because I was on Team DC. Because, I'm got to support them. I like
I did
Vertigo
Team
and stuff.
Marvel.
And Dev was on Team Marvel. And throughout the whole entire day, everybody's just like, oh, it's just Marvel. I was like, oh, cool.
People were
cool,
pretty
of
adamant
course.
about Marvel.
Yeah, it was
throughout the day.
pretty upsetting.
It's because people who haven't read a comic book still went and saw Avengers.
I know.
Exactly. But one of the caveats to our question was, we're not basing it off comic books or animated series or movies. It's the entire brand as a whole. So you got to factor in all of that. And right now, that's what put my vote to Marvel.
And the vote doesn't have to be what's better. It's just what you prefer. Like, what do you like?
And
DC,
I got to say
maybe.
that because of what they're doing with movies, I'm going with Marvel right now. So that's kind of how I justified that.
What did the vote end at?
It was pretty in favor of Marvel.
Then
It was pretty heavily Marvel. We don't have the closing picture. We got one pretty late in the day, and there's a lot of Marvel.
I have to say I understand why they are hitting it out of the park in the public consciousness with the movies, but personally, still prefer DC.
I know we're kind of moving quick through these, but that's okay. We had the Xbox One versus PS4. And this
that was
Trent and I working that day.
Yeah, that was you and I and Eric.
Too.
And
I just sort of came up with that question like right before the VIP was let in.
And you drew your little Xbox symbol. Yeah,
and the little PS4 symbol, which wasn't that hard. I gotta say though, a little bit disappointed with the gamer crowd. I had to erase tallies 3 times for cheating, which I didn't have to do on Thursday whatsoever. And it wasn't just Xbox or PlayStation 4, it was both. There was cheating on both sides, and it made it really hard to sort of have a fair tally of opinions.
Well, and then partway through on the Xbox side, somebody drew a huge chunk out of it and wrote PC, and then that wound up receiving a lot of votes too.
And it took up the Xbox's portion of votes.
So
it was
good.
it was just like, oh gosh, man.
It was pretty funny.
Yeah,
PC Master Race.
It's just so funny because this lead up of yes, no, Ben, and then a little bit more heated on DC Marvel because it's the companies, and then you get to the fanboys and the gamer crowd, and it's a completely different dynamic.
And
I was just like,
you said, what was it that you posted on Facebook about?
I said gamers will do anything to win.
Oh yeah, they're not above cheating.
They're not. They're used to cheat codes, so they're like, why not? I'm just gonna flood the tallies and just hack the system. Damn it, people, just be honest for once. I'm gonna put up Akuma. You see him right there?
Oh wait, hold on. Let me move my thing. Yep, there is Akuma.
That's the Akuma that I got. That's super rare, I guess. Yeah, it's adorable.
One of the tallies I promised that I would bring up. There's a very large tally, 1 mark under "Will Ben be a good Batman?" under no. I promised that one would get special mention. It's huge.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
And one person wrote "hell no," like in capital letters.
That one guy, he was just looking at it. It was so funny. He was just sort of staring at it for a little bit, and then he just looks at us and he goes, "Can I write hell no?" I'm like, what you want, man? It's one vote, but.
And then there were 2
Sure, do
tally
it. Go
marks
for it.
on the PS4 in the first set that I said I would give a special shout out to if they watched our cast. So those ones are on there too now. You can't say I didn't do it.
And I'll always remember you guys. All those small little fleeting moments with you guys, just talking with you. It didn't just go by the wayside. I didn't forget about you the moment somebody else came up. Like, it's all a huge blur.
It's a blur, but we remember. Yeah, the people
I remember all
were
those
cool.
little moments with those certain people that I talked with that left a positive impression. So I want to thank you guys coming out to the booth and supporting us, supporting Graywell, supporting local. Basically,
Please get a big thank you to Dustin Hanson for being such a stud.
Yeah, Dustin supporting, basically supporting the booth, letting us be
Dustin
there.
Hanson, we should say who he is.
Dustin Hanson, owner-operator of Graywell Entertainment.
And
yes, our father. Our
Papa Dusty.
Papa Dustin. Yeah, seriously, it was a great experience for both of us. I really thought it was going to be negative, to be honest, when I was going into it. I wasn't looking forward to it. I thought we didn't have any idea what we were getting ourselves into.
We had a certain dollar amount we were trying to reach to make it profitable to have that booth there. And,
for Graywell.
And yeah, because they fronted the money, we fronted the labor basically. And Zane, as I understand it, we hit that goal on the first day, the half day on Thursday, I think.
Yeah, we basically hit
Without
what we
saying what
needed
it is,
to cover our expenses. We made enough money to cover our expenses in the first day. So
on the half day.
It was the equivalent of asking for a Kickstarter goal and getting, triple what you wanted. So it was I mean, or more, yeah. I mean, that's not the exact math, but I mean, it was really great. It was really successful for us, and I think next year, talking with Dustin at work about plans for next year, I think we're going to pull out all the stops. We're going to bring more stuff, have more floor space, do more stuff, and I mean, really just blow it out of the water.
Please look out for us next year. I think, like Zane was saying, I think what the plan might be is 3 to 4 booths. Salt Pop might have their own little lounge area too. So it's going to be like a mini Graywell with a Salt Pop lounge area.
One of the things, Trent, I want to change my favorite moment now.
Okay, go for it.
Me and Eric were there for this. Comic-Con was technically over at this point, and we were loading up the truck to take all our merchandise back, all the Graywell merch back, and we ran out of room in the truck to take stuff back, and there was one IKEA bookshelf left.
Oh, it was so funny.
Oh, that was so funny.
It's just like it's like we were moving, and there was just the one piece of furniture that was left, and like all of us are like standing around staring at it. Like it's like that in Stand By Me when all the kids find the dead body and they're just looking at it, like wondering what they're going to do. So we're all just staring at this burnt bookshelf, just like.
And there's no way it's gonna fit. I mean, it wasn't even an option. We were just like, Dustin turns around, shouts, "Hey, want a free bookshelf?"
To these people at an SUV, like
like some truck just parked a little next to us, and they just start staring at the bookshelf for like 5 to 10 seconds. No words, just silence. And then the girl ends up saying, "What color is it?" I mean, we're just you just see these 4 guys go, and I'm like, "Birch," and I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, "Thank you, Audrey, for reminding me what that." We have no idea what birch is, if not for Audrey. And then
from Minecraft.
But they ended up taking it. She was like, "I don't know where I'm gonna put it, but
okay,
I'll take it."
Your problem now, and drove off.
Yeah, and then we drove, and then Dustin drove off into the sunset without his lights.
With no headlights on.
Oh man, that was a good moment.
It was a good time. We had a great time. We worked our asses off, but it was a great time.
No regrets. Would do it again.
Then I with Comic Con again.
Yeah, and Saturday it was really
deep. Comic-Con again.
Saturday, you definitely had that San Diego Comic Con feeling where you were just exhausted, but the excitement was carrying you through the whole day. It's going to be great next year. If you guys didn't have a chance to go, I know a lot of people who say they were going to go but didn't. You can't do it next year. You have to go. You have to plan for it, and they're going to sell tickets soon.
Yeah, don't screw around getting your badges. Get them now,
Yeah,
or as soon as they go up too. For next
Because
year.
it will sell out this time for sure.
Sweet. Well, to anyone who this is their first podcast listening to us because they found out about us at Comic Con, thank you for watching us. But be sure to check out. We have YouTube, we have Twitter, we have Twitch.
And please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. Subscribe on our YouTube. You can also follow us on Twitch TV, and please like us on Facebook. It's a very, very small effort, but it really helps us. It helps motivate us. It helps keep you in the know of what we're doing, and it helps keep numbers. It's just all around really good, and it doesn't take a lot of time out of your day. So.
And it's not just us, too. We promote a lot of these other local businesses that we're talking about off this Comic-Con trip, this talent that was in your backyard that you didn't know existed. These are the type of people that we're writing articles about and we're having on our show and stuff like that. You're going to find out about these people, and so next time you're at Comic-Con, you can get this print because you found out about this artist that's here in Utah.
And we would love for you guys to think in your head, oh, I heard about those guys on Salt Pop.
Yep. So, any final words from anyone?
Nope, I'm
let's
good.
do this more often.
All right.
Yeah.
We love our fans. We love you, everyone but Craig.
What?
We double love Craig.
Should love me more than anybody else. Let's be honest.
Craig's
Nope.
stuff.
I'm playing
Bottom
some
of
Eggman
the
right
list,
now.
3 out of 10 would love again.
10 out of 10 would do me again.
Have a good life, everybody.